It's one of the most beautiful modalities that I've ever seen. It is called quantum change process, and it helps you to connect back to that vital force that you have inside of yourself.
Welcome to the Phase 4 podcast, inspired by Vishen Lakhiani and Ajit Nawalkar, co-founders of EverCoach, a division of Vine Valley. In this podcast, we speak to coaches and creatives about where they were, where they are, and where they are going. This is the intersection of what we focus on expands, and your story is your superpower. My guest today is Berenice Brito. She's also known as BB, the Wellness Weaver, and she's a Transformational Master Nurse Coach. And today we're going to talk about a bunch of things, including body, mind, and spirit. And Berenice, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, no, definitely grateful. I always kind of like to begin with, how did you end up in this space?
I've been a nurse for over a decade. Doing bedside, I was on ICU. I always loved helping people, but I always felt that there was more that I could do. Coaching allows me to do that. So I started my own journey, and as I saw my transformation, I was like, I need to share this with other people.
Yeah, that's the thing with coaching, right? It's like almost like addiction. You feel so good once you do the work on yourself. You're like, I need to share this with other people. Exactly what you said. And so, yeah, maybe tell us a bit more about yourself, and then we'll get into a bunch of coaching stuff.
All right. You want to talk about exactly what I work with, how I help women? My main focus are women, right? Women around 35 to 50 years old that have trouble connecting to their pleasure. I don't just mean sexual pleasure, but all kinds of pleasure. A lot of times when women are not able to really experience their body, to really, how I call it, experience the experience, that translates in every aspect of their lives. So not only they are very difficult to orgasm, but they also don't find ecstasy in being in a beautiful field and smelling a flower that just, I got goosebumps just thinking about it, But a lot of times when we have blocks on feeling it, on experiencing that experience, we cannot perceive that, we cannot feel that. And that's what I want to change. I want to help women to be able to really fully experience their experience. So
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, the idea of like just seeing a sunrise or a sunset and just understanding and appreciating the awe and beauty of that very impermanent picture. It's important. And so definitely I can even relate to that. So what kind of coaching, like, is it one-on-one, groups? What does that look like?
I do both. I have some group coaching and programs. I have some that are starting next month, actually. And I also have one-to-one coaching, right? There are two different programs. I did a special for this podcast since I'm joining you here for your people, which might become my people as well. I'm offering a 10% discount podcast code. You go to my site. If you're going to do some work one-to-one, it's podcast 10. And if it's a group work, you can use just podcast and you're going to get that gift code. Now, if you go to my Instagram page, which is BB_wellness_weaver, and you DM the word gift, I will also send you a $25% gift card for you to use on my services if you connect to what I'm offering you, to be able to really experience the experience, to connect to your pleasure, to find bliss, to be able to unleash all the power that you have inside of you.
That's nice. Thank you for that offer. I definitely appreciate that. I'm sure the listeners will too. I think, do you have a demonstration you could show us?
Yeah. So I work in three aspects, right? I'm a nurse, so I have a lot of anatomy background and physiology background. So I work with the physical, with the body, but I also work with the mindset and with energy. And today I wanted to give you an example of an energy work. What I want to do is called clearing denial. It's a beautiful process that just balances out all your meridians. Those are the same points that acupuncture uses. So they're energetic spots in our body that you can tap in and make it work more in accordance to your own truth. So if you want to experience that, I can take you through it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So first of all, we're going to use two fingers, the pointer and the middle finger. And we're going to keep our eyes closed because we want to see the truth, right? So the first spot is right under your collarbones on that soft area. You're just going to make circles going inside towards the breastbone. And you're going to do 3 deep and conscious breaths. Eyes open. I know my truth. Eyes open. Next point, the right 2 fingers go behind the mastoid, which is where you put your glasses, what they hold. And the left fingers are going to go on your belly button, which is a very important point. Again, 3 breaths. That is, I'm willing to communicate my truth. Now we're going to switch on the other side. Right on the belly button, left on the behind the ear. 3 conscious breaths. I'm willing to hear the truth. I'm willing to be guided through it. Next step is the thumb right on your third eye, which is the spot between your ears. And your palm goes all the way over your head, all splashed over your crown. That one is, I'm willing to feel my truth. Keep your eyes open. Let's switch the other hand. Thumb on the third eye. Hand splashed over the ear, of the crown. You can face to the side a little bit to be more comfortable and create conscious breaths with your eyes open. Next one, the 2 fingers right on top of your head, in line with your ears. This one is, I'm willing to accept my truth. And the last one is going to switch. On the left, you're going to have your fingers in line with the ears, 3 conscious breaths. Maintain your eyes wide open. I'm willing to let all that is not true go and allow a new truth to flow in. There you go. That's a simple exercise. You guys can do it every day. I do it every morning. I think it's a beautiful way to start my day. Just clearing out all the negative, all the denial, all the I do not want to see what might be hiding in the shadows, right? And just allow it to come to the surface so you can explore it. so you can pass through it, so you can heal it.
Yeah, thank you for that. There's a bunch. So I wish I was wearing my watch because I guaranteed my heart rate just slowed right down through that. I was doing it along with you and I feel lighter. And I thought at first when you were talking about meridians, I thought you were going to do tapping for a second. Did you do that?
That's what most people think. I don't really work with tapping. I am an NLP practitioner. So I do NLP modalities, and the clear energy, it goes a lot with NLP. That is neuro-linguistic programming. For those that don't know, it is a way that we learn to speak directly to your unconscious mind. And that's that I have all the energy work.
Yeah. So I saw something on your bio. It said e-NLP. What is the E? I never heard that.
All right. So it's a special NLP process that is called evolved NLP. We do a lot of forgiveness work. We do a deeper healing than most NLPs, which all of them are amazing because they have the tools to do that kind of work, right? It's just that the one that I practice is slightly different because it's more attuned to your soul. That's how I feel it. That's how I see it, at least.
Yeah, I love it. What maybe some other types of energy work do you do?
Well, I do energy healing over the phone or over Zoom, right? Because our energy, we can create a huge bubble around us. Energy is not contained within our physical shelf, right? It's not contained in our physical form. So I can expand that energy, and I do energy healing. Like, it happened very recent, and that's why I'm bringing up this story. My dad, who will be 87 now in March, yeah. And thankfully, his health is really, really good, but he does have some health issues with age, very normal. And the other day he called me and he's like, oh my God, I'm feeling so weak. I tried to go from my bedroom to the living room. I had to hold on the wall and I was almost falling. I'm like, Dad, may I do an energy healing? Usually we don't work with family, right? It's not as practitioners. We usually don't work with family just because, I'm not gonna really clear the conscious blocks and their history is very attached to mine. But my energy can help them. So I'm like, Dad, do you allow me to do a conscious energy healing with you? And he told me, yeah. So I went ahead and I did it. It took me 5 minutes. The next day he called me and he's like, what did you do? Like, I'm feeling so good. I'm so energized. I've been walking around. A couple of days later, he was at a party. Like, it was just spectacular. And that's just one example that for me is very near to my heart, right? It's my dad. But I can do that with anybody. Like, I can give you a boost of confidence. I can help you energetically because we are mainly energy. Everything in life, everything that we see, everything that we feel, everything that we touch is energy. It might be energy in a slower pace, in a slower speed, but it's still energy. So we can interact with the entire world around us.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's so cool that your dad, he received it, right? Because sometimes you can help with someone, and if they're not willing to receive it, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, it has to be a choice.
So we talked about energy, spiritual energy healing, and I know you got 3 levels. You said the physical, we didn't get into that, and the mindset. And so maybe can we go into the physical and the mindset and talk about what you do there?
What I do in the physical, I don't have a formula. I don't sell magical pills. All my work is very tailored for whatever the person needs. So if I have a woman that comes to me and she's like, I don't feel comfortable in my body, I need to lose weight, I need to change this and that, I will help her to feel more comfortable with herself, pinpoint exactly what she wants and where she's willing to go, do the work behind it, which includes a lot of mindset, include hypnosis. I'm a hypnotherapist, whatever is appropriate for that person to change their body, to change the way they look, because this is just a reflection of how we feel inside. I'm 41 years old. I look the prettiest I've ever looked before. I feel the greatest. I lost 50 pounds in less than a year without crazy exercises. Like, I did re-education, and I work with them, with the women that I help, depending on your needs. If you're someone that needs a diet, we'll do a diet. If you need to work with fasting, we'll do fasting. Whatever works for you. There's no magical formula that works with everybody. So it's a very tailored and personalized work.
Yeah, that's great. 50 pounds in a year. Good for you. That's amazing. That's like not an easy thing to do. So really good. That takes a lot of dedication, commitment, hard work. And you said about people losing weight. I think sometimes like that person will come to you and say that they want to feel better in their body and they need to lose weight to do it. But that's not totally true, right? We could feel better in our body and the weight thing will kind of do what it does.
Yes, that is where the mindset comes in, right? The more comfortable you feel within yourself, the better it is. The more you accept yourself, more your energy flows, more your mindset accompanies what you're feeling, because emotions and thoughts, they're completely connected. That's what neurotransmitters do, right? Like, all the feel-good hormones, they affect your body, and they come from the emotion, and they build up with the emotion, and they build up from the feelings in your body. It's a concomitant effect. They work completely together. So the more you accept yourself, the more you love yourself, the more you learn to appreciate yourself, more you accept yourself for whatever state you are. If you want to check my before and after photos, you can go to my Instagram page. It is bb_wellness_weaver. And there you can find, I just posted a few days ago my before and after. And I got such an amazing feedback because it looks like a completely different person. Not just because I lost the weight, but because I am a different person. I am a new and updated version of myself, because now I am truly aligned to who I am deep inside. We are all infinite, magnificent beings experiencing an earthly experience. So, the more aligned we are with our true essence, with our fire, the more that reflects, and the more the world can see that in us. I am completely with, like, I embrace, and I will cheer you on if you're saying that you want to change the way you look. If that's going to make you feel better. If you are good at where you are, there's nothing to change. You don't change because society tells that you got to change. You don't change because someone else wants you to change. You change because you want to do that. So if you want to help with that, I'll help you with that, because I want to see you happy. I want to see you feel pleasure. I want to see you in bliss. And that is from alignment. I hope that answered the question.
Oh, it sure does. It reminds me of a quote by Pierre Teilhard de Chardin that says, "We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience."
100%.
The idea of the energy, that it's not just in you like that. You could feel it. You change your personality, you change your mindset, and you become a different person. And with that, the energy changes too. And then it's palpable. People can see it. I can see it and feel it. And then for anyone who's curious about that, right? Like, you go in the hospital, they put all these things on you. That's an EKG, and it's attached to your body, and it's reading signals inside. But there's something called the EEG, electroencephalograph, that's outside your body, and it can read your brainwaves from outside your body. So the energy is not contained in your body, and then things like that. So it's outside reading your energy. But as you heal, you can grow the magnetic field around your body, that bubble you're talking about earlier. It can get bigger and bigger. And we see this with people we know. You might go into a restaurant or a theater, and all of a sudden, like, you can feel someone's energy who you're not even looking at, right? Or sometimes, like, you can, right? Because it's there. So I just wanted to add that. But I love this. This is all like my stuff. So physical, body, mind, spirit, right?
That's it. That's it. And the mind and emotional go together. So it's a group, right? If you only work in one aspect, you're not gonna get the result you want, because we are all connected. We are not separate little parts. That's why Western medicine a lot of times is not 100%, because it's been very segmented to be able to really treat the population, right? I'm not saying that it's done wrong or anything like that, but like, it looks at you in pieces. And now they are starting to look at it more holistically, because you are not the parts of you. The sum of your parts make you. And you decide those sums. You decide how they affect you. You decide how you move with them. You decide how you flow. And another aspect that I think it's very important is that energy that is in us when we do the work and we elevate our vibration, right? When we can live at higher levels, I call that being magnetic, because that's what you are. When people see you, they flock to you. It's charisma. That's like a magical pill. It is, you just radiate that energy, because that's how you feel inside. And there's no better place to be.
I love it. So it's kind of ironic, right? So you go to the doctor, they try to give you all these pills to make you better. It doesn't actually make you better. But if you don't take the pills and do the work inside, you become better. And like you said, it's a magic pill.
Yeah. There is a lot of treatments, right? Not treatments, but there's a lot of modalities that help to treat things within you. And it's a lot of energy and a lot of clearing blocks and clearing all the luggage and all that huge bag that you're pulling behind yourself. There is German medicine, there is tapping, there is a lot of different things that work with your energy, and they do cure diseases. It's the same thing as an energetic healing. It works with the inside part of you. And I'm not saying don't do the Western medicine, but if you can do both, it adds up.
Yeah. I wonder, how do you do that in your job? Because you're seeing just straight Western medicine. You're seeing the mask that people are just zombies walking around. And it's really difficult to tell someone, hey, look, you just kind of have to try this out and see, like, be the architect of your own life and see what evidence it produces. Like, don't have to do it forever, but hey, try meditating or journaling or gratitude for a month and watch what happens. But how does that, like, because that's a conflict a little bit for you personally, maybe. So how do you deal with that?
Well, I've realized recently that even before I knew that I was doing the healing, I was doing the healing. Like, I didn't consciously knew that I was using my energy, because I didn't really know about the energy, right? But as an ICU nurse for about 10 years, because I did other things too. I did telemetry, I did urgent care, and I loved the different aspects of it. But in ICU, it was very strong and very visible. I only said goodbye to 3 patients in 10 years. That is amazing, because I always kept them the best way they could be. Even the comatose patients. I always spoke to them. I always treated them as the soul that they are. They might not be able to be communicating. They might not be able to consciously be there, but that energy is still there. And I could feel the energy of those 3 patients that did leave this plane. I felt that at the moment that they left. And it wasn't because something that I did or because it was some lack in the Western medicine. It was because it was their time and they chose to go. They were at the end of their path. And when you're deciding that you're done with this experience, you go. It's the normal process of life. But now looking back at my career, I can see how many lives I have affected, even when I didn't know that I was doing what I do.
Yeah, 100%. I think sometimes even my own story, I look back and I can see parts like, oh, that was actually happening and I didn't even notice it was happening. I got a crazy healing journey story, but we've heard it too many times, so I digress. Okay, so I kept getting hurt at work, and so I would go to the doctor and they would take an x-ray. They're like, you're fine. And I kept getting hurt, so I would keep going back. And finally the MRI said, like, you have a tumor in your spine, right in the nerve root at the bottom of my spine. Not cancerous, but still, it was right inside my spine. So they did surgery and scraped it a little bit away. But if they went any closer, he said, you might not walk again. So I take a pill for pain, take another pill for depression, take another, and then all of a sudden I'm taking like 33 pills a day. And I was like a zombie. So 4 times a day I would take pills, right? And so all day long I'm just telling myself how much trouble I'm in. And so I'm talking about age 35. I'm sitting around and I would tell people I'm sitting around I'm waiting to die. That's pretty much what I thought. And I thought your life is just like that. Like just every day's the same. And I didn't know you could make it up. I didn't know what a growth mindset was. I didn't know any of it. And so when my son was 2, 3, 4, I was sitting in a mobility scooter being absolutely useless. And when he was about to turn 5, I decided I'm not doing this anymore. So I stopped taking all the pills. And like last year I ran 2 marathons. And it's just like,
wow, that's incredible. But it's amazing. I'm so happy for you that you are able to, right, get back to here and now. Because that's the thing. When we start losing the willingness to be here, we start disconnecting. And we disconnect and disconnect. I was totally disconnected at a point in my life. I've always loved reading. And reading is something that I enjoy a lot. But there was a point in my life that I was disconnecting so much that in a year, I read 365 books. Not small books. Like, I'm a very fast reader. I read the Hunger Games trilogy in 2 days. Like, I'm a very fast reader. So I read all those books working full time and being a mom. But now, again, looking back, I know that was me disconnected from reality. I didn't want to live my own life. I wanted to escape into something else. And in Evolved e-NLP, we have a technique, a modality that's one of the most beautiful modalities that I've ever seen. It is called quantum change process, and it helps you to connect back to that vital force that you have inside of yourself. So if you have at any point in your life just said, wow, is it even worth to do this? Is it even worth being here? I'm not saying that you thought about committing suicide or anything on that level. I'm just saying you were so disappointed with how things were here or with something that was happening in your life that you're like, the experience that you're living seemed to not really grasp you. Your life force has diminished. And that is the moment that you start getting diseases, that you start getting sickness showing up in you, because that's disease is the lack of easiness, is the lack of your normal. You were born with a blueprint for perfect health. That's inside of you. But a lot of times, because of, name it, you can name it, traumas, generational traumas, conditioning, societal norms, many different things, you lose touch with your blueprint, right? You start blocking it off and you start creating all this ease. And it manifests in your body because that's how it works. Your mind, your emotions, and your spiritual sides all work together and affect your body. So if you have a decompensation in any of those levels, your body is going to show the symptoms.
I agree 100%. It's like looking back now, I can see it, but it's like, oh, all this trauma that I stored inside, anger, fear, all this kind of stuff, it just eventually came crashing down. And the way it came crashing down for me is that it manifested as this spinal schwannoma. Well, we're good now. So it's
have you been symptom free?
I don't even know if there's a tumor there. I used to do MRIs every 3 to 5 months, and I haven't done one in like 5 years. So 2019, I had what I call a spiritual awakening.
Amazing. Celebrate your victory, because that's a victory to be celebrated, right? Like, to not have something that was hindering, that it was pulling you back, that it was not allowing you to experience your life with your child, with your friends, with your family, with your loved ones. So really being here, so being brought back from that by your own strength, that's commendable. So
thank you. I don't know if I did it, like it wasn't me, but it's almost like I died while I was still alive. And so I don't know if you know Joe Dispenza, but he says like the personality or the disease exists in the old personality. Once you change your personality, your personal reality will change. And I like, okay, let's go. Like, what do I do? You talked about, yeah, thank you. You talked about books, and 365 books in 365 days is absolutely mind-blowing. But maybe what are some of the books that you're into right now or anything like that?
I love hidden messages in the water. And going back to my nursing years, right? Going back to me working ICU and managing 10 drips at one time. A drip is an IV with medications and whatnot. Sometimes, I don't know if you've seen those pictures of ICU rooms where you have those poles and you have a bunch of machines and a bunch of bags. I used to do that. That was normal day. And a lot of my healing was done through those. Because now looking back, I know that a lot of times when I hung them with the intention. That intention got passed on to my patients when they were receiving that fluid in their vein, because water has memory. Water can transmit your intent. It can transmit your intention to yourself. You might have heard of, in the morning, fill a cup of water, put intention into it, and drink that water. That is extremely healthy. It's so good for you because you're putting that energy inside of yourself. We're made up from 60 to 70% of water, depending on your age. So water really affects you. Water is a big part of you. So yeah, I love that book.
Yeah. I always think, whenever I hear that number, 60 to 70% of the body's made up of water. And then I always, for some reason, think about the planet. Same thing. And there's that interconnectedness you didn't say the word, but that's interconnectedness you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. 100%.
So as we begin to wind down, if this episode resonates with you, please like, subscribe, share, follow, but no hard sell, and reach out to Berenice. She's give us that amazing energy healing at the beginning, and I'm sure that she's got way more than that. You can see, like, talking just the story, right? lost 50 pounds by herself, helping to, because she wanted to change. She read 365 books. So even though she was saying that was an escape, she probably got a lot of knowledge from that. So being a nurse, she can blend East and West together and help you. So please reach out. And Berenice, I ask everyone this. This is the Phase 4 podcast. And Phase 4 in the 6-phase meditation by Vishen Lakhiani is all about creating your future 3 years from today. So where is Berenice 3 years from today?
In a beach, enjoying life, celebrating family, celebrating health, celebrating my community, and still helping people. Like the vision that just came up for me right now was in a big party with my tribe, with my people, my loved ones, my friends, the people that I have helped, the people that have come up into my life because our energies connect and we want to work together. They are my tribe. So that's what it came up. Me celebrating with them the change that we are making together in this world.
Your vibe attracts your tribe. I love it. I think, did we go into the one-on-one with the women already? I think we did. All right.
We did a little bit. If you want me to do a quick one, it's I have Breakthrough with Baby. You can go to my site and it's followyourpathcoaching.com, because I believe each one of us have their own paths to follow. Like I said, I don't sell a magical pill. I help you to bring out the magic within yourself. And that's unique. So it's your own path. I'm just here to light the way for you.
Wow. Okay. So before I kind of ask my final question, I usually like to let the guests take it wherever they want. So like a message of hope, or if you have something to sell it, or something we don't know about you that you want to share, anywhere you want to go, or events coming up, let us know.
Once again, just because it's easier for you guys to be able to reach me if you have resonated with what I'm saying, if you go to my Instagram, which is bb_wellness_weaver, you can see my posts. You might find something that you really need to hear right now. And if you DM me there, I can send you a gift for 25% off on my services, just for reaching out, for deciding to be a part of my community, of my tribe. And I work with women at all levels. I have programs that start for less than a dinner out, so programs that are more intensive and more expensive, but they all help you on your journey. Whatever it is that you need at this moment, you might be able to find it there. And if you don't, just let me know, because we might make it for you. If you connect with me, it's because I am connecting with you as well. So I'll be very happy to have you there.
Thank you. And we did touch it a couple of times, but my final question is, how can people reach you?
Well, once again, you guys can always reach me on Instagram. That is the easiest way, is the one that I use the most. bb_wellness_weaver. There is also my website, which is followyourpathcoaching.com. Or you can always text me at 305-399-8403.
Amazing. Baby, I'm definitely so grateful for your time today. Thank you so much. This was a really amazing conversation.
Thank you, JP. I love being here. This was awesome. And yes, very instantly, I can feel that energy coming from you. And it's beautiful. It's amazing. Thank you for having me here.